Today we're going to do this full coverage look with this blue eyeshadow. Hope you enjoy. So we're going to start off with a nice fresh face. Remember to do your skincare. And my first step is to prime the face. I'm using the Revlon Photo Finish Primer, which is one of my favorite primers. And remember to put it all over your face, all over to all the places that you need. And I really like this primer. I then start off with my brows. I use a pencil and I use a pomade to shape my brows. I first brush my brows up to give me the shape that I want, and then I go in with my pencil, and then I fill in the tail of my brows, and only a little bit at the front. And then if I want it to get darker, I'll use the pomade and only concentrate at the end of the brow, and then brush it all up after. I then go in with a concealer. This one's from Nars, which is one of my favorite. I use the color Amande, and I shape the inside at the bottom first, and then I shape the top bit of my brow. When I shape the top bit of my brow, I usually just follow my natural curve of my brow, and that gives me the shape that I want. It doesn't take me much, it's just one swipe, whoop, as you can see, and I'm done, and all I have to do is blend it all out. After I'm done, I get a lighter concealer, and this one is also from Nars, and it's the color Caramel, and I use this as my eyeshadow primer, and I put this all over my lid and I blend it all out. And because the Amande is at the top, it doesn't give me that halo looking brows, and I really like using this primer because all my eyeshadow gets to stick and they last a little bit longer on me, which is really nice. I use the tapping motion when I try to blend the concealer. I don't swipe anymore because it takes off the product and it gives me it leaves streaks. So I like to tap, 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 and that's how I blend, and I tap until everything is blended nicely. Alright, now if everything's nice and blended, it's time for the eyeshadow. Today I'm gonna use the blue. So I took my Morphe eyeshadow and I'm gonna pack the blue again with a tapping motion, and I'm heavy-handed, so it's a lot, but it's okay. I really wanted the color to show and pop, so I am packing the color in. You can also use a tapping motion to shape up how that you want the shadow to be, like I did. And then I'll go in with a darker blue, which I will tap in at the end. And by the way, I'm using a flat brush for this, it's no blending brush. And I tap, tap, tap the end until I get the color payoff that I'm looking for. And take your time shaping the eyeshadow to your liking. Remember to tap until everything is blended. I then take this all red tone from the palette and this brown tone and mix together, and I'm using it to buff out any harsh lines that I've created with the blue. And it will look a little bit muddy, but just keep working on it, keep adding the color, and it should blend out nicely and seamlessly. Once the blending is done, I am taking the shimmer, the blue shimmer color, and I'm mixing it in with another shimmer color, and I'm gonna put it all over my lid, like all over my lid, because I want a little bit of sparkle in my eye. Yay! And I use my finger for this. I don't really like using brushes when it comes to adding shimmers. I don't think it gives off the true color of the shadow, so I usually just use my finger. Once you're done with the shimmery blue, you can add a little bit of the silver to just give it a little pop like this. Then it's time for eyeliner. Only one stroke at the top, no winged, and then add your lashes. I'm still learning how to do my lashes, so I'm gonna do them off camera, but this is how it should look like, and like this. Love it. I love wearing lashes. And now it's time to do the face. I go on with my Kevyn Aucoin concealer, and this is just to color correct because there's a lot of shadow that fell off, but I'm too lazy to wipe them out, so I'm just gonna add it on top. And I conceal the same way with the tapping motion, so just tap 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 until everything is blended. And obviously your finger is the best blending brush that you can have, and I go in like that and bow. And then I go in with my Fenty concealer and I add it all in, and I'm quite generous with this, as I have large pores near around my nose, and if I don't fill them in, they show up, which I really don't like. So I take the concealer all the way up. I am heavy-handed when it comes to this. There you go. And I take a brush and I again tap 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 tap. I don't wipe anymore, and I don't use beauty blender. I used to blend with a beauty blender, but the brush seems to work best for me. So blend until everything is seamless. And then this is my third concealer, but I'm not as heavy-handed as the one before, so I spot conceal only to my inner corners, the other outer edge, and on this side of my nose, and at the top of my forehead. Again, blend, 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 blend. As there's a lot of liquids, it will take a while to blend, but just be patient and just keep doing it. Now it's time for foundation. This is the one from Bobbi Brown, which is one of my favorite, and I'm using 2 pumps, and then I'm just gonna dot them all around my face. Don't worry, it does look a little bit bright and yellowish, but it will settle in later once I'm done blending and adding other products on top. Again, I use a brush to blend my foundation, and I use the stipple motion, and I just stipple, 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 stipple. I don't swipe because I don't like the streaks, and I do this. It takes a while, but the result is quite nice at the end, and it doesn't leave any streaks lines, so I really like it. Okay, finally done with the blending. Oh, I think I'm done now, and I'm gonna start off with my contour, what I like to call it bronzing because it's not actually as dark, but and I am again heavy-handed because I lost a lot of color when I put my foundation, so I like to bring that back in, and I contour my nose only a small dot just for color. That's it really. And again, I use a brush to blend, and it's a stipple motion the same way. I don't swipe or wipe, no streaks, and that's it. Once I'm done blending, I then go ahead have another concealer. This one is quite lighter. This is the Nars Creamy Radiant Concealer, I think, and it's the color Custard, and it's super bright, but I only do a little 2 dots in a corner and at the end, and I use my finger to blend. I keep tapping until everything is blended seamlessly together, and when I'm happy with it, and it's time for powder. And then this one is the Benign Colorless powder, and I put that in, tap 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 tap, and I am quite generous with this. Remember to if your concealer has creased, just blend it before you add powder, otherwise you can see the under eye creasing. And I take my time here to make sure everything is seamless. And then I go in with my Huda Beauty, another powder, and this one is the color Blondie. And again, I am quite generous, and I'm not scared of it being cakey because I use Fix Plus at the end. I love powder, and this is one of my favorite steps. I get to highlight with powder, and I'm not really scared of it. I just add more and more and more and more. And yes, I look like this all the time. And again, I go in with my Mercier translucent powder, and I tap this all over my face. Yes, all over my face. Tap 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 tap. And I'm very, very generous. I try to cover all the areas that I had my foundation and my contour and all other everything else that I added to my skin. And again, I'm not scared because I can get to wipe it off later. So tap 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 I go. And this is my favorite part. I do enjoy it. Yes, you will look casket ready, but that's alright. And more powder. This is my last one, and this is again the Mercier medium deep translucent powder, and I use this to contour, I guess, where my nose is. I put it where my nose is because I didn't put powders on the side of my nose. And I also use it where I place my concealer, my darker version of concealer, and I put it all over my forehead too. Tap 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 tap. Like I said, I'm very, very generous, and I am not scared of powder. There you go. Ta-da! So I use a brush. I do not wipe the powders away. I stipple them into my skin and keep going until everything is gone. It will disappear, so don't be afraid. Keep going, and ta-da! My favorite bit is my Fix Plus from MAC, and I am again heavy-handed because I put a lot of powder, so I'm super heavy-handed. And then I let that dry, and the fun part, bronzer. I use this one from Fenty Beauty. This is Coco, which is also one of my favorite bronzers. And I put that all over where I put the contour before, and I just bronze. And again, I am very, very generous. I put a lot, and I put a lot, and you can I place it strategically to where I want it. After I'm done with bronzing, it's time for blusher. This is also one of my favorites. It's from Nars. I don't know the name, but I will put it down in the description box below. And I am super generous again because I do love blusher. Bronzers and blusher are my favorite products ever, and I'm heavy-handed. If you're not heavy-handed like me, please go lighter, but I go to town with blusher. Look at that, even on my nose. I take my time with the blusher. And now I like to reverse contour, and I take my Laura Mercier translucent powder on my beauty blender and I carve the bottom of my cheeks. Pow pow pow. And if you, and again it's more powder, but it's okay, I'm gonna add Fix Plus at the end, so I'm not too worried about it. And ta-da! Look at that! And now it's time to put eyeshadow underneath my eyes. I've taken this Wet n Wild eyeshadow palette, and it's the orange color, and I'm just going to put that underneath my under eye. After that, I'm going to take this NYX eyeliner pencil. It's a copper color. Once that's done, it's time to highlight my brow, and I take a shimmery color and I put it underneath my brow. This is a bit like gold-ish color, and again I go to town with it. I quite like this step, it's one of my favorite. And then now it's time for the inner dust, corner eye, and that finishes up the look. And lastly, mascara. This one's from Bobbi Brown, which is one of my favorite, but it was gifted to me, so now I have to go and buy a new one, but I don't want to because I'm cheap. So use the mascara at the top and bottom of your lashes. And that's it. Now it's time to get rid of the powder. Remember not to swipe, just to stipple, and it will go away. And now I'm just going in buffing everything to see that everything's together before I go in with the second round of my Fix Plus. And pow pow pow. Again, I go to town with my Fix Plus. Now it's time for my highlighter. This is one of my favorite highlighters from Stila. It's the color, I think, bronze. And it's very subtle. I don't like a super highlighting cheeks. I just like it just a little bit, just like small, little bit of a glow, just a little bit of a glow. That's all I want. And I highlight at the top of my nose, the bridge of my nose, the tip at the end, and also the top where my cupid's bow is. After highlighting, it's time for the lips, and I take this MAC lip pencil, it's the color Cork, I think, and I line my lips at the top nicely and at the bottom. I'm still learning how to line my lips, and I just usually just line them how I want. I'm never really smart about it, just do whatever I want. And then I go in with my McGrath lip gloss. It's the color Flesh. I think it's Flesh 4 if I'm not mistaken, but it will be on the description box below. And that's it. Woohoo! Oh, before I forget, don't forget to put in your setting spray. This one is not Born This Way, Zahora. This is from Too Faced, and that's it.